Long ago, in the vast Persian Empire ruled by King Xerxes, a kingdom stretched from India to Ethiopia, encompassing 127 provinces. King Xerxes was a powerful and wealthy ruler, renowned for his lavish lifestyle. In the capital city of Susa, he resided in a magnificent palace, adorned with gold, marble, and precious gems. One day, King Xerxes decided to display the splendor of his empire by hosting an extravagant feast. For 180 days, the nobles and officials of the kingdom gathered to celebrate the king's wealth and power. As the grand feast concluded, he invited all the people in the city to a final 7-day banquet. The palace garden sparkled with golden cups, fine linens, and abundant food and drink. During the festivities, King Xerxes commanded his queen, Vashti, to appear before the guests to display her beauty. But Vashti refused. The king, angered and embarrassed, consulted his advisors. They warned him that Vashti's disobedience might inspire others to rebel, and so the king removed her as queen. A royal decree was sent out declaring that the king would seek a new queen. From every corner of the empire, young women were brought to the palace for the king's selection. Among them was Esther, a beautiful and humble Jewish girl from Susa. Esther was an orphan, raised by her cousin Mordecai, a wise and caring man. Mordecai instructed Esther not to reveal her Jewish heritage to anyone in the palace. Esther was taken to the palace and underwent months of beauty treatments, as was the custom. When her turn came to meet the king, her grace and charm captured his heart. King Xerxes placed a royal crown on her head and declared her queen. Mordecai watched from a distance, proud but cautious, and Esther remained silent about her heritage. One day, Mordecai overheard 2 palace guards plotting to assassinate the king. He immediately informed Esther, who relayed the message to Xerxes. The plot was foiled, and the event was recorded in the royal chronicles, though Mordecai received no immediate reward. At the same time, a man named Haman rose to power in the king's court. Haman was arrogant and demanded that everyone bow to him. Mordecai, however, refused, for he bowed only to God. Haman was enraged. He devised a sinister plan, not just to punish Mordecai, but to destroy all the Jews in the kingdom. Haman approached King Xerxes and said, "There is a certain group of people in your kingdom who follow their own laws and do not obey the king's decrees. It is not in your best interest to tolerate them. Let a decree be issued to destroy them, and I will provide silver for the royal treasury." Xerxes agreed, giving Haman his signet ring to seal the decree. Haman's orders were sent across the empire on a specific day. All Jews, men, women, and children were to be annihilated. When Mordecai heard this, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and sat at the palace gate, mourning the fate of his people. Esther's servants informed her of Mordecai's distress, and she sent a messenger to him. Mordecai urged Esther to go to the king and plead for her people, but Esther hesitated. "No one can approach the king without being summoned," she said. "If he does not hold out his golden scepter, they will be put to death. I have not been summoned for 30 days. Mordecai replied, "Do not think that you will escape because you are in the palace. If you remain silent, deliverance will come for the Jews from another place, but you and your family will perish. Who knows? Perhaps you were made queen for such a time as this." Esther resolved to act. She instructed Mordecai to gather all the Jews in Susa to fast and pray for 3 days, and she and her maids would do the same. On the 3rd day, dressed in her royal robes, Esther entered the king's court. Xerxes, seeing her, extended his golden scepter signaling his favor. Esther approached and invited the king and Haman to a banquet she had prepared. At the banquet, Xerxes asked Esther what she desired. "Even up to half the kingdom, it will be given to you," he said. But Esther postponed her request, inviting the king and Haman to another banquet the following day. That night, the king could not sleep. He ordered the royal chronicles to be read to him and was reminded of Mordecai's act of saving his life. "What honor has Mordecai received for this?" the king asked. "None," his attendants replied. The king decided to reward Mordecai. The next morning, Xerxes asked Haman, what should be done for the man the king delights to honor? Thinking the king meant him, Haman suggested a grand parade with the honored man dressed in royal robes, riding a royal horse, led through the city. To his shock, Xerxes commanded Haman to do this for Mordecai. Haman, humiliated, led Mordecai through the city streets as the people cheered. At Esther's second banquet, the king again asked, "What is your request?" Esther revealed her secret. "If I have found favor with you, O king, spare my life and the lives of my people. We are being threatened with destruction." The king was shocked. Who is he? Where is the man who has dared to do such a thing? Esther pointed to Haman. The adversary and enemy is this vile Haman. Xerxes, enraged, stormed out. Haman, realizing his fate, begged Esther for mercy. When the king returned and saw Haman near Esther, he ordered Haman's execution on the very gallows he had built for Mordecai. Xerxes issued a new decree allowing the Jews to defend themselves. On the appointed day, the Jews triumphed over their enemies. Mordecai was promoted to a high position in the kingdom, and the Jewish people celebrated their deliverance. To honor this victory, the Feast of Purim was established, a time of joy, feasting, and the giving of gifts. Esther's courage and Mordecai's wisdom saved their people, leaving a legacy of faith, bravery, and divine providence that continues to inspire generations.